Good morning, September 24th, about 9:30, right around 60 degrees. We're going in entry point 14 on the big guys trip, and hopefully to get our chosen campsite. So let the work begin. Well, here's a section of the portage from the parking lot to the landing. And it's just this glacially scraped rock. And it's truly beautiful. And the good thing is, coming down from the parking lot, it's all downhill. Here come a couple guys carrying the loads. Isn't this pretty? Isn't this beautiful? It's about 60 degrees, very limited clouds, and we're excited to get on the water. All right, Mr. Herbrand and I are loaded up. We're on the water waiting for Dose and Nelson to get in. But there's the landing. Again, you've heard me say in many of my videos, there are some pretty precarious landings here with nothing but boulders and a drop off about 4 or 5 feet. So those guys are going to get in very gently, very professionally, and very dry.
Crossing fingers.
Yeah, and then we're going that way. Little Indian Sioux North.
50 pounds of man. Just waiting for something to happen.
All right, this is the landing on Little Indian Sioux from basically the only portage out. To get you into Upper Pontus, but this is really a glorious portage. It's got a creek, a river running next to it. It's got some waterfalls, a street along the way, but just a fun little 66 rod portage. All right, so I've been accused of not being a real man because I use the word glorious. But I was Nelson, so you take it for what it's worth. And there's Dose Esquire the 14th.
It looks like somebody laid gravel on most of this thing.
I know.
Yeah, it's a well-laid track.
Where we go. Beautiful waterfall. Just a beautiful portage. First portage after you enter entry point 14, Little Indian Sioux North. Not difficult, very well maintained, but just drop dead gorgeous. Just finished the first and only portage. Fingers crossed, we get the campsite that we want. If there's no campsites available on Upper Pontus, we might have to go to Lower Pontus, and that's another short portage. But what a glorious day. Glorious river, small water, no wildlife yet.
Turtle.
Oh, turtle, true. And a bunch of deer on the way in. Well, we found a site, not the one we wanted, but we're really confident we can make it work. And it's going to give us some protection from the wind. It's got a beautiful fire area. Then up in here, there's just a beautiful cliff area to have our coffee in the morning or our cocktails at night. So yeah, now's the grunt time. Set up. All right, spend some time putting camp together. And with 4 guys, it's a lot of work. A lot of prepping. But we got Mr. Nelson, a couple of blue barrels, and his big Agnes Scout sleeping. We've got a pretty nice fire area. Getting ready for our steak dinner. Got another tent back here from Tom Esquire the 14th. Who looks like he's over behind that in the hammock. Right over there. Hanging low. Overall, pretty easy to get here. 2 short portages that were really, really pretty, beautiful. And including one being the one we came down off of the entry point. I had one beaver dam that we had to, let's just say, open it up a little bit to increase the water flow so we could paddle through it. It looks like it was pretty newly formed. It wasn't that thick, but it was just not enough footing there to be able to get out and drag the canoe over. So, up here are the other 2 tent areas. Up here, a little climb. It's good for the portage legs workout. Alright, so here I am with my Una. Got things pretty much put together. Pack is hung. Really pretty campsite. It's not the one we were shooting for, but in retrospect, we saw that one and it was way open. Then we also went down to the end of the lake and looked at the other one that was pretty highly rated, but it was not that good. So here's where Tom Herbrand, Esquire the 14th, was going to reside. So overall, I like the elevation. I like we'll be able to see sunsets, but not a bad sight. All right, start prepping for dinner. It's morning. It is morning. Wednesday the 25th of September. It's coffee time after a fitful sleep and steak and all the trimmings last night. Didn't film much because we just had too much to do, setting up camp and getting organized and feasting and little libations around the fire and off to bed pretty early. But the weather forecast says awesome. So off for a little day trip today. A little adventure. Well, it's about 11:30ish. Leisurely morning of our first full day. So we got camp cleaned up, fed well for breakfast, had eggs and hash browns with Spam. Yum. Now we're going to go out on a little adventure and see where it takes us. Just see where it takes us. But absolutely gorgeous day. Early 70s. Supposed to get up high 70s. Last night everyone had a fitful sleep. Got down low 50s, high 40s, but just perfect. Just absolutely perfect. And we're really, really enjoying this campsite. It wasn't our first choice, but it's working out fabulously. All right, let's get out in the water. Alrighty, we just portaged into Upper Pontus and straight ahead, right up in that little cut. We're gonna do a little fishing here and then go up and hike that. But beautiful lake, beautiful weather. It's heating up a little bit. It's got to be in the high 70s by now. All right, there's the entrance to the Devil's Cascade, and right there's the portage up. Now, the Devil's Cascade is a portage into Little Indian Sioux, which is continues on the other side of this, and also this part of the Sioux Hustler Trail. So we're really excited to get up there and take a look at it. There's already some boats there from the people doing the portage. It's pretty long and arduous portage, but it's just really beautiful here. Well, we're parking the boats here. This is the beginning of the Devil's Cascade. We got the boat here. The other boat is going to be behind me. Now I'm just going to do a little stroll down the Devil's Cascade. I'm really looking forward to seeing this.
They usually grind it by hand.
Well, we're on the trail, and from what I've read, this thing with the hole in it is an old grinding stone that's been used to get us across this little creek that feeds the Devil's Cascade. And I really can't see any markings on it or anything, but it's kind of just an interesting artifact on this trail. All right. There are the fellas. So here's the only campsite on the Devil's Cascade. It's pretty small, got a couple tent pads, but the real problem of this is you trying to get water. As I understand, it's pretty arduous to get water.
Look it up that way. Wow, it's beautiful. There's a cascade down here.
And that's the cascade.
Is that the cascade itself?
You really can't see over it, but can you imagine having this campsite and trying to get water down there? Beautiful.
Look at the view out that way.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
And there it goes up to Little Indian Sioux continues.
Yeah, that's sorry for digging up. Sorry, I walked under the set there unannounced.
This would be a great spot.
You'd have to lug your own water in.
I don't know if I got enough line though.
You know, this is the end of the Devil's Cascade portage to Little Indian Sioux. The portage goes up, 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 campsite, and then down, down, down. Looks like a nice landing.
They're a wee bit muddy.
Looks like an eagle up there. Beautiful day.
Osprey, I think.
Yeah, one time.
We are on a portage between Lower Pawness and Shell Lake, and we're standing on this huge slab of granite. And what makes this really unusual is what I'm pointing at here is a beaver dam with the water up to the top. I mean, this granite just goes on and on and on. Yep, and there's the dam. And you can see the water. It's right up to the top. There's a section on this trail that traditionally you have to paddle across because of this beaver dam that now they've done a little end around it. I'll shoot that on the way back, but this is just spectacular, this big piece of granite. Just spectacular. It goes all the way down to the lake, but again, look at the size of that beaver dam.
This is where the river raced.
And the water goes right up to the top.
This is where the river raced originally.
I didn't notice this.
Yeah.
Crap.
Pretty good dam, huh?
No kidding. I didn't realize I was standing eye level to the water.
Busy beavers.
You're right on the ledge here.
Oh boy, look at that.
It's like about 8 feet at the end.
Wow. Beavers have done a phenomenal job. This is Shell Lake at the end of the portage. Very, very interesting portage. Especially the area with the huge sloping granite and the monstrosity called the Big Beaver Dam. Wow. Beautiful day though. Yeah, so we continued on after getting to the edge of the portage on Shell Lake and hiked to the first campsite. And it's just really, really nice. Beautiful campsite. Clean, nice kitchen.
Nice garage.
Look at this.
Yeah, the front porch is beautiful.
Look at the front porch. sit out here, have your coffee, have your dinner, have your cocktails. Beautiful lake. Shell Lake. Came in from Lower Pawness. About a 280 rod portage. About two-thirds of a mile. I always like the rock formations up here. I mean, it's just gorgeous. Taking a break before you hike back. So on the portage between Lower Pawness and Shell Lake, this beaver dam that I showed you previously, it's kind of flooded the area where in past you used to have to unload your boat and maybe do about 10 strokes, and then actually you have to load your boat and do about 10 strokes and then unload the boat and get back in. You can see it up here, but someone has built a little end around over a beaver dam, over yet another beaver dam. But here's the little section that everyone talks about. And here's a little sub path to the north where you can walk around it and keep your feet dry. Noon on Thursday.
If they were good dreams, I was happy to hear about them, but a lot of times he had like just
All right, out for a little stroll on the lake, Upper Pawness. I'm going to go down to the far southern end and stop at the campsite, look at the very short portage, and then just kind of drift our way back. As we did last year. You know, we really like being here, but we don't like this boat, especially with no portage implements in it, backpacks, food bags, food barrels. So instead, we substitute rocks. So we call this our prison ship, because we portage rocks. Back on Lower Pawness. Just did a really short, like a 10 rod portage up and down. It's not recommended. Everything I've read always say take the portage to the north of this one. It might be a little bit longer, but it's really flat. But this is beautiful back in here. Got a little area where Upper Lake here drains into Lower. It's gorgeous. Well, here's the head of the drain between Upper Pawness and Lower. And it's interesting how the beavers are trying to make a dam here on these boulders that go across it. But what a beautiful day. Absolutely not a cloud in the sky. And we're just out exploring. Border's almost on the too hot, up in the 90s at the end of September. Wow. How can you tell when you've had a hot summer when all the vegetation in the water is basically blasted by the sun? Take us forward a little bit. I'll get these up here. I mean, it's just amazing how even in standing water, they're just shriveled up. Wow. Wowza. $105 in the sun, and someone is doing something that's never been done on any of our trips. September what, 26th, and we got a swimmer.
I can't believe it.
we got a swimmer.
But I'm just trying to cool my body core.
Oh, buddy.
Oh.
September 26th, and we got a swimmer.
What's in the pan?
Spaghetti night, spaghetti night. We get the noodles going. We got the sauces flowing. We have the fresh baked bread. And Cabernet Sauvignon in the boundary waters. No one goes unfed and unhungry. We're doggies.
And unloved.
And unloved.
Yeah.
Wait, unfed and unhungry?
Boundary water spaghetti
What's that?
with fresh
Pork
bread.
salty.
Yum, yum, yum.
Red.
Friday morning. Wow.
Cheers.
Cheers. Just drop dead gorgeous. No dew this morning. Alrighty then. Friday about 2:45. Just came back from a little fishing expedition. Went over to Lower Paulness and sat at the end of the portage and had lunch. And decided to come back here. Yeah. This is like root haven because underneath this is all rocks, so the roots absolutely have no place to grow except on top of the rocks. And there's the food barrels hung 12 feet up, 6 feet out. Oh, we're legal. And we have a little bit of a climb up to the elevated campsite. And it's so nice to be able to lay in the hammock and look out at the lake in the morning. So last night we were having out the fire, having some libations after dinner. We heard like a squeaky bark up here, and we're assuming it was a fox, but it was really close. But this is just drop dead gorgeous. Big piece of granite. Another day, not a cloud in the sky, but it's got to be high 80s, low 90s in the sun. So we're going to just do a very relaxing afternoon. Fire time with the owl. And the owl says what, Mr. Herbrand?
Who cooks for you?
I gotta try to work on her. I don't know if you can hear that.
Popping off pretty regularly. Wow.
He's horny. I'll try a soft one so he sings it far away.
One more time.
Straight behind us, huh?
This thing is.
Yeah. I don't think I'm fooling anybody.
I don't think so. Kind of enough.
Final night campfire.
10 to 10.
Come on, one more time. Alrighty then. Well, I say that a lot. Alrighty then. There's the site. The lake is like glass and we're starting to paddle out. Beautiful day. Beautiful day.
Would you just drag it over the land?
All right, Little Indian Sioux North. And of course, it wouldn't be a little creek or river without a beaver dam that we got to navigate across. So the guys are over there dragging the boat over, and we're next. When we came in, Tom Mitchell kind of cut a hole in it. We floated through it, but they've already repaired it. Coming up on the portage. This is really the only portage on Little Indian Sioux North. The final portage, if you want to call it that, is just the entrance to get to the car. But this is drop dead gorgeous back in here. Really beautiful. Back on the only portage other than the entry portage, if you want to call it that, the Little Indian Sioux North. And this is probably, it's going to be one of my favorite portages I've ever done. There's a little bit of ups and downs on it, but it's just drop dead gorgeous. Pretty much a stroll in the park, actually. You got the waterfall. Got that little brook running. Oh, I like the sound of that waterfall, running water. Not a breath of air. I want to say it's probably 70s. Feels like it's going to be another scorcher. There's your waterfall. All right, let's go get more packs. Well, boys and girls, moms and dads, sons and daughters, friends and not friends, we're just about at the end. The final portage is right there up to the entry point, the parking lot, where we're going to dock the boats, strap them down, load the gear, head to Ely for a celebratory beer and burger. Yeehaw.